Hi, welcome back to Cooking with Gwenda. Today is episode 4 and we'll be making an apple tart. My name is Lorelei and this is my mom.
Hi, my name is Gwenda. I've been an innkeeper for 25 years and today I'm going to show you how to do an apple tart like Lorelei said. We just went out and got some apples this week, so we have lots of apples in the house, and this is another great idea for you for this fall season of something you can do with those apples. There's two parts to this. The first part we're going to show you is the ingredients for the apple part of it, and then there's a crust that goes on top of it.
Okay, so what are the ingredients for the filling?
6 apples, 3/4 cup sugar, a teaspoon cinnamon, and you mix the cinnamon with a 1/4 cup sugar. So 1 cup sugar in total for the filling part of it. And then for the crust part of it, you're going to need a cup of butter. Some people use shortening, I prefer to use butter. A teaspoon of apple cider vinegar.
Wait, and a cup of butter equals 2 sticks of butter, right?
Yes,
Okay.
2 sticks of butter is a cup of butter. 1 egg, a 1/3 cup water, and 3 cups flour, and that's for the crust. Okay, first step is we're going to go ahead and peel and core our apples. Do you want to show them how to do that, Lorelei?
So you can peel your apples with just like a little carving knife or whatever, or just a regular peeler like this. But I really like my Johnny apple peeler that I got for my birthday like 2 years ago. And it cuts the apples into slices while it peels. Look at that. Isn't that cool? With the quick help of our Johnny apple peeler, quickly peel all of these. And now we have these sections, so we're gonna just chop them up. So we're just chopping them half.
That way they'll be the size that we need to put them around our pan.
This is for the filling.
Yeah. Now that we have our apples all sliced up, we're going to take our 3/4 cup of sugar and melt it down on the stove top. And we're going to melt it enough so it turns like a golden color. And I find when I do this that I have to add just a little bit of water to it just to moisten it up and get it started melting. So we'll go ahead and turn the stove top on. Medium heat, like a medium heat.
Okay.
Yeah. I have a little bit of water here that we're going to add to it.
Okay. So we just wait till it gets golden brown, but do you stir it continuously? So
You'll want to keep on stirring it so it doesn't burn on the bottom. This is the consistency that we want, and as you can tell, it's starting to turn a slightly golden color. So we're going to turn the oven off, or stovetop off, and at this point we're going to pour it right into our pan, and I'm using a pie plate. It's the shape that we want for this apple tart. All right, and while it's still nice and hot, you smooth it around. And then the next step is we're going to take our apple slices and arrange them around the pie plate.
Mm.
Yeah, it does look good.
Just like in any design you want? Or?
Yeah, I like to arrange them as a circular type. And the only reason these have started to turn brown a little bit
Oxidizing.
is they're oxidizing. Yeah, but that's okay because when you bake it, it's going to be turning brown anyway. Next step, when you've arranged half of your apple slices, you're going to sprinkle half of the cinnamon sugar mixture on top of it. Okay. All right, then we'll keep on arranging. The cinnamon sugar is simply 1/4 cup of sugar and half a teaspoon of cinnamon.
You're stealing my spots and I'm putting that.
This is a team effort, obviously.
No. Okay, so then we sprinkle the rest of the cinnamon sugar on
Yeah.
top.
We're going to work on the pie crust. So if you don't know, or if you're not comfortable making a pie crust, this will be a good tutorial for you.
Your phone's ringing. It's Aiden. It's your son. Interrupting us.
Aiden, how are you?
You can't call him.
Middle of filming our apple tart. How are you? Hold on.
Okay. Oh. I just tripped. It's because I'm wearing Crocs.
Next up, we're going to go ahead and preheat our oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. And while that's preheating, we're going to work on our crust.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, to start with the crust, Lorelei, we're going to use 3 cups of flour. Go ahead and put it in here. We're putting 1.5 teaspoons of salt in the flour. And then we're going to add a cup of butter. Lorelei, go ahead.
Okay.
Usually I use chilled butter and it was too cold, so I put it in the microwave and now it's almost too soft.
A cup is
2 sticks of butter.
Yep. Because I know butter measurements are usually kind of weird.
I use a fork and I just fork it in together. Like I said, usually you're using butter that's a little bit colder. But this will work. We might just have to end up using a little bit more flour. Some people use a pastry cutter. I just use a fork. All right, and then to that we're going to add, this is a recipe from my mom and I really like it because it handles well. And it uses 1 egg and a 1/3 cup of water and a teaspoon of vinegar. So go ahead and crack this egg.
Where do I put the egg?
Right in the water. Teaspoon of apple cider vinegar. Go ahead and mix that all up. Add it to the pie crust. The next step, now that we have our pie crust mixed up, we're going to sprinkle some flour on our clean surface. Now that we've floured our surface, we're going to take, and this pie crust actually makes 2 pie crusts. And so we're just going to divide it, shape it a little bit, put it on our surface, and I turn it over, make sure both sides are floured well. It's going to just roll out better if it's floured. And Lorelei, why don't you go ahead? We're going to need about a 9-inch round piece of pie crust. If it sticks to your rolling pin, it just means that you need a little more flour. It's no big deal. Okay? All right, now to get it off of that surface, what I do is I take a clean dishcloth and I carefully pull it up. This just makes moving it to your pie plate a little bit easier. Yeah. And then you fold it in quarters like that. So you fold it in half again. And then you're going to position it so it's in the middle here. Unfold it. So unfold your towel. And your pie crust should be right on top. And you might have to maneuver it around a little bit so everything's covered. The beauty of this apple tart is that you do not need to crimp the edges to make a design in it. You're just going to simply cut it. We'll just piece in the parts right here that are a little bit skimpy. Skimpy. And then you're just going to tuck it into the edges like that. See how easy that is? Once we get this part done, we're going to put it in the oven. And this needs to bake for 50 minutes, 400 degrees. Yep. Okay. Our oven is preheated, so we're going to go ahead. Ready to put it in the kitchen? I mean, in the oven.
Okay, just put it in the oven.
And that will bake for 50 minutes.
You might notice that we only used half the dough.
So one of the beautiful things about this recipe is that it makes 2 pie crusts. Either the top of like an apple pie and then also the bottom part of it, or what we did today is we just went ahead and made another pie crust, and I'm going to put this in the freezer for another time that we can use it. And I may end up using it as a quiche or maybe an apple pie, who knows, but it'll be for another time. All right, time to take it out of the oven.
It's like a nice golden-y color.
It is. Okay, now what we're going to do as soon as it comes out of the oven is we're going to invert it onto however you'd like to serve it. Flip it. And then carefully, I'm going to grab something like a spatula to lift that up. It's very hot, so you just want to be careful. And it should come with a little prime, come right out. And there you go. There's your very hot apple tart.
Nice.
And this would be really good served when it's a little bit cooler with whipped cream.
And this is what it's supposed to look like once you flip it over. Thank you for watching this episode of Cooking with Gwenda. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Sorry, Mother. There's a lot of apples, man.